Greetings, dear ladies and gentlemen. It's Ivan Maltsev, General Partner at 3X Capital. Today, we will have an insightful session about DePIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. We will go through some basic information together with a Chief Investment Officer from Solus Group, Nikita. And of course, we will go through your questions and some different cases like Filecoin and maybe some other great projects that already created this amazing infrastructure for decentralized physical networks. So I'm really excited to invite Nick today to the stage, who will be presenting his analysis and reports on the DePIN. Hi, Nick.
Yeah. Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Happy to be here. Thanks for the 3X Capital for the invites, and happy to share a bit more details on the DePIN in general. So let me start the presentation.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Let me know. Can you see it now? I think you need to push it on the screen. So can you push it up on the screen, the presentation we have? Oh, awesome. Can see it now, so we can start. Today we will talk a bit about the DePIN, and we'll be basically unpacking it. I will start from the first point and introduce myself in a bit more details. I'm Nick, Chief Investment Officer at Solus Group, also doing the investments and consultancy at Cryptomeria Capital, worked with different big companies like Mergewave Capital, which is an M&A brokerage, Pragma Technologies, Tokenomics, WenKI, and many more in the Web3 space. Basically, my expertise covers the Web3 product management, building and automation of different processes, strategic consultancy, due diligence, research, fundraising, and basically investor relations in general. So have a pretty decent network on the side of VCs. On Traction, over 8 years in researching, academic researching in crypto, and 6 years of cumulative experience working with different Web3 projects. A consultant for 10 plus crypto projects, and reviewed a lot of projects in the space, as I can say so, with full due diligence on more than 250. As I can say from my experience, the numbers can be a bit bigger as for now, because I didn't update this slide for the last 3 months, but still, I think it's like a pretty full cover on myself, and we can move forward directly to the DePIN unpacking. So what is DePIN? DePIN is basically the decentralized physical infrastructure network, and let's describe it in a bit different terms. So basically, you can start from the word infrastructure, because infrastructure is the main point for the DePIN. You have the infrastructure providers all over the world, basically decentralized. They can be centralized, they can be cloud, and DePIN is something about the physical infrastructure, because you can be a node runner and use your nodes on your PC or on your GPU farm, if I can say so. And the second valuable point for the DePIN is that it's decentralized network. So it's not a big server that is staying somewhere and is fully centralized, and not as someone who provides you with the cloud storage or cloud space, but it's decentralized network that is done by people, the resources are provided by people, and you can use it by yourself. So that's basically about the DePIN. Sometimes you can see that DePIN is also like decentralized private infrastructure networks, but if we are talking about the private ones, it's mostly like for the closed ecosystems, for the computing or for the storage that should be secure, and basically they should be like not used by all the people in the world. Why the classical DePIN is basically the physical infrastructure networks that are used by that can be used by all the people from any part of the world. Let's move forward to the DePIN categories. So we can categorize DePIN in 4 major different categories. First one is storage, and you have probably heard about the big projects on the DePIN side in that space. The biggest ones are probably like Filecoin, Arweave, Storage, and a couple of others, which we will cover a bit later today when we will be talking about like the different projects that are in the DePIN space. Storage basically is about like storing your information and working with files on your computer. Then talking about the computing itself, sometimes I heard that a lot of people can say that we're talking about like the cloud computing here, but basically there is a small difference between cloud computing and decentralized computing, and basically it's the way we have it here. The cloud computing can be centralized, while decentralized computing can't be centralized. Basically, for the computing, you also have heard about like the major projects I think in the space, like Render Network, like Azir, probably about like IO.net and many others. They're providing the solutions for you to use the unused computational power of different PCs all over the world and utilize these GPUs for yourself and for your needs. It can be everything starting from basically the mathematical points and like hard stuff that you need to calculate or model, and up to the gaming, because like for example the Azir projects, they're providing the solutions for gaming and for decentralized gaming, probably where you can like play it on your PC, or this PC can be not the best one, but still you can play it because you use the computational resources all over the world and like playing the games you would like to play. The third point is wireless. For the wireless, there is also one major player on the market, which is Helium, and I think like there are a lot of points about the Helium and basically a lot of memes, because sometimes Helium is used to like cover all the country with Wi-Fi. And for example, one of the use cases of Helium that was basically a bit funny for me, as I'm the Web3 degen, but on the other side, it was a bit useful and kind of useful for the real sector. It was used to check if the cows on the farm are ill or not. So as you can see, the pin can cover everything from like the real sector up to the Web3, coming through all this real Web 2, Web3 kind of stages. Yeah, and wireless networks provide us like basically it's about the Wi-Fi, basically it's about the connection, basically it's about the transportation of the information like between different like PCs or GPUs or anything else. So that's the third category. And the fourth one is like the sensor networks. The sensor networks is something that you can check all around yourself. So for example, we have different sensor networks for mobility. Biggest players on this market probably will be Hivemapper, Demo, Sorchain, and any other guys. So on that side, you're just putting a device inside your car, or simply putting a camera in your car, tracking everything that is around your car and analyzing this info. Then this info can go somewhere for the AI models to train the autopilots, or like anything else that you can imagine. And like after that, you earn your rewards for providing this info. For example, the main idea of Hivemapper, if we're talking about it as a sensor network, was to update the maps faster than Google Maps doing it, because I'm basically in Ukraine, and on the Google Maps I have the map that is like from 2015, while it's 2024 out there. So it's not really useful for me. While if I will be using Hivemapper and the Hivemapper will move to the Europe in general, I will have the updated information. Much more faster and much more clearer. On the side of the Sorchain, they have a bit specific use case here. They're like you're just putting the device inside your car, connecting it to the car, and it analyzes the state of the car. On top of that, it can gather the information and put it out for the AI models to train all over the world. While Hivemapper and Demo are mostly for the Europe and United States, if I can say so, Sorchain are also targeting the Asian market, which is pretty big, and they will be the first guys to make the device for the motorcycles. So kind of unique use case as well here. Other sensor networks can be something around like Internet of Things, something around covering the smart home devices, and many more. And all over the point on the categories, you can see and check the DePIN idea as the combination of all ways to store something. You have the place where you can like compute something, analyze the data, and work with the data, and then store it. After that, you have a way to like communicate between your GPUs, CPUs, or basically between your PCs throughout the wireless network, and basically share this data wherever you need. And on the sensor networks, you're gathering this data, then communicating it with wireless, then going throughout the computing and analysis or wherever, whatever you need, and then you can store it. So basically, it's a full-scale infrastructure that combines these four categories inside itself.
Sorry, Nick, just wanted to cover the question. What is your favorite DePIN category and why? Maybe you can share some insights regarding the market potential with some categories. I believe it's also quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question. That's pretty much a great question. I would say that storage and computing are pretty popular one on the market already. Like the Filecoin is building for a long time. Render Network is basically from 2012, if I can say so, and they're doing this stuff, updating their network all the time. So I would say these are the major players, while wireless and certain networks are just coming to the market and gather their like user base. So I would say that for myself, my favorite category is like the sensor networks, simply because you can see these real world use cases, like basically in front of you. You can just put the device inside your car, gather the info, train the AI model that will in the future help you to drive your car and simplify the processes. On top of that, that's really great things that are doing with like the Internet of Things in general and smart houses, because it's automate a lot of the processes and make them simpler for you. So from the visionary side, I would say that my favorite category is the sensor side, but it would be a little bit slow in terms of developing, simply because like it's hard to onboard the users, bring them these devices, and there are a lot of like problems and challenges that can be in the sector as well. We will talk about it a bit later. And on the wireless side, I'm like, I really love what Helium is doing. They're doing and building the big project in general, I would say. Yes, so I really like it, and they're providing a lot of like specific use cases, as I have said. Sometimes it's like the coverage and the Wi-Fi. Sometimes it's something for the real sectors and basically for the farmers. So I think there are a lot of potential there. But as I can say here, like not a financial advice, always do your own research. And there are a lot of promising projects that we will be talking about a bit later when I will show you the map for the DePIN. But that's how it works. So let's move to the next point, and we will talk about the DePIN flywheel. So this flywheel basically covers two flywheels, if I can say so. One that is closely connected with the network effects. So for the network effects, when you're lowering the unit costs throughout the network effects, you have higher infrastructure utilization because more people can access it. And basically, along with the point that more people can access it, the network effects bring like the potential lowering of unit costs, because the business can earn more money, can adopt and update their technology, and because of that, they can lower the unit costs. While after that, you will have the higher infra utilization. On the other part, on the right, we have like the network effects on the token value. So the more token liquidity that we have throughout the network effects that comes throughout the adoption bring us higher token value, and this is like the cycle that can be pushed forward in a long run, not a short one, but a long run. Yeah, and it should definitely work, especially with the successful DePIN projects. if they have like a specific tokenomics model. So always check for the tokenomics model as well, because it can be different from time to time. On the other side, we have the small green to yellow kind of circle that creates, like, if you have a demand, you will basically if you have a demand on the market. For example, we had a demand for the cheaper computational resources, and basically for the computational resources in general, we will have a suppliers who will provide these computational resources, if we are talking about the computing category, for example. Yeah, and if we're having this supply, we will have more coverage, because this project will like do some marketing, they will gather some more users and push their solution forward to the people who have never thought that it is basically possible. And with the coverage, we will have the better user experience. Here, I would love to say about the example of the IO.net. So they have a problem with the GPU spoofing. When you are going to the decentralized computing platform and saying, oh, so I have one GPU, but I would say that I have 10, and then you can say that your platform has like 2 million or even bigger. But after that, when the problem was discovered, it was fastly fixed, and thanks to the IONET team for fixing this, and basically for discovering this, because without like the coverage and without adoption, we have like we can't think about this problem in general. So that's the point with the user experience. And when the user experience is better, we can move forward and upgrade the demand, because more people will come to the platform, more people will use it, because it's easier to use, simpler to use, and the guys have fixed the problems that they had. So and that's a bit on the DePIN flywheel, and it's basically a pretty structured one and simplified in general, so feel free to check it. Also, I would mention here that together with the guys from Cryptomeria Capital, we have done in April a big DePIN report for almost 200 pages. Yeah, you can check this DePIN report on the different media, and basically on our Twitter, so feel free to check. The DePIN flywheel is from there. The map I will show later is also from there, and you can basically check what is going on in the DePIN world, what was going on, because for the April, you can understand that some projects like IO.net or IAZIR haven't even launched, and for now they're launched. But still, I think that's the great point to check and see how it was like developed from that time to the time we are in right now. Then let's talk a quick one about the technological components. I won't dive deep, because in my opinion, you can't like simplify the technological components of all the DePIN space into like one slide or even two slides. Each project has his own technologies and their own like way how they are working with the product they have built. So I have simplified it in the way that you have on the side of technological components, nodes or devices. So talking about nodes, it's like if you are a node runner, you can simply have a node on your PC or on your GPU and like run it and provide the information for the network, or probably provide the computational power, or probably provide the space, or anything else. That depends on what you have. And for the nodes, you have some devices and you utilize it for this specific project, and you can choose the project. On the other side, there are specific devices. For example, I have already said about like the search chain, about the Hive mapper. I would also say about the forum later. And these guys have their own specific devices that are solving some specific project problems. For example, for the search chain, it's about like tracking all the information that is around the car. For the Hive mapper, it's about mapping and checking the specific events that happens while you're driving. For the forum, it's about the connectivity and about like the wireless effect in general, so you can be connected between, like, if you have two phone devices, you can be connected with your friend without having any access to the internet or any access to like any kind of network in general, just throughout these two devices. So I think it's like can be pretty useful in some situations. Yeah, and this is basically the breakdown. You will have or specific device, or you will have your own device that you can utilize like nodes. Then let's talk about the DePIN advantages. So we have like 4 major ones, and let's start from the first one and up to the fourth one. So first one is like the cost effectiveness, and here is like the demand point that we had earlier. There was a lot of demand for the cost effective GPU, because if you're an institutional, it's totally okay for you to pay for AWS a lot of money and everything gone well for you. Yeah, but if you are a small startup, or if you are any kind of research group for the university or research group for like any company, and they don't provide you with big grants, even if the AWS did, you can use the AWS, but if not, you can use different decentralized computing solutions like the ones I have already mentioned. And the main point for them, if you have checked their websites, if you have checked their like pitch decks and any other details, all of them have this comparison table where they have themselves and they have AWS. And sometimes AWS was like 10 times higher in price. That's not a problem because they're like institutional solution basically. And I would say DePIN is basically the solution for small businesses that needs this like computational power or storage. Like the Arweave and Filecoin and storage have the same. They're used for different use cases, but still you can check for their prices, and they will be like much lower than the classical ones in the centralized world, and they will have much higher scalability, if I can say so. If you need a lot of space for yourself, it will be easier to utilize this decentralized storage solution than utilize any kind of centralized, because it will be basically more cost effective. The second point is like the improved efficiency. Yeah, if you have a decentralized server and some node just dropped down, the server will still work. But if you have like decentralized server and the electricity turned off, you just can't do anything with that, unfortunately. At least you have different yeah. So yeah, on the side of the improved efficiency, as I have said, there is like a point where like decentralized servers can just turn off fully, while decentralized can't. And not only with that point, but also with the point where like you can use it much more closer to yourself. If you have played different kind of games, especially online games, there is often you that are sitting in some specific location in some specific country, and for example the servers are in the nearest country but not in your. So you have these problems with ping, you have different problems with the user experience in general, because like your ping is like 15, and for the players that are playing versus you, the ping is 5, and you can experience the best experience from the game that could possibly be, simply because this lacks. And on the side of the improved efficiency, I could say that like decentralized solutions can solve this as well, because you will be connected to the closest node that can provide the resources for you to play. Also enhanced security, because it's kind of harder to hack something that is decentralized in general. And basically there is the point with the decentralization, always when you have something, like almost always, if you when you have something decentralized, it's like harder to break through. Yeah, and there is like different cryptography methods as well, as we are on the blockchain, and DePIN is basically something that exists on the blockchain, and it's bring much higher security level than the classical solutions. Yeah, you can say that for the classical solutions, there are like good and insane cryptography guys, heads of security in different companies that are checking that everything is like okay and secure. But still, on the other side, you have like decentralized control of your data, while for decentralized networks you don't have you don't have this control of your data. And the first point is basically the transparency. I would say that for someone it won't be an advantage, but for me in general it's like a big advantage, because with the transparency you can check all the malicious actions that was taken in your network, fix them, and like slash the points, for example, for the people who are not doing the stuff they should do properly. And that's the way you can work with like your network of nodes if you're a DePIN project. Yeah, you can like work with them directly to you can check make their behavior better. So on the DePIN advantages, these four are the main ones. Basically, I can say that there are much more specific advantages that I could mention, but in general terms, I would say the effectiveness, improved efficiency, security, and transparency are the main points for like any DePIN network that can be provided and can be sold to the classical user. And now we're coming to probably one of the biggest part. It's like the use cases and real world examples of the DePIN. So if there are any other questions before that, like Ivan, you can join and ask, but if not, we can go to the like different ecosystem maps and check on different projects.
Sure. There are questions from me and from audience in the end. So the first one from my side will be, what are the main risks that you identify right niche, considering that we are mostly investing in tokens and expect to generate profits from the token investments? I think there are a couple of them. Would be interested to hear yours.
Yeah, there are a lot of risks, to be honest, especially if we're talking about the investment sides. For example, there was a pretty specific case with the Azure, because they first raised for the equity on their project, then raised for the token, then they have raised on the nodes, and then they have sold their own devices. And there are a lot of money, and you can never control how they will utilize them. Me by myself, I know the Azure guys, and I think that they're doing a pretty cool stuff and doing it the right way. But you always have the risks here that someone have this specific idea of like another one, DePIN, decentralized computing protocol, that will work in some way, and everything will go like okay and according to their plan. But the problem there is mostly about the team, because the team is just copy pasting the idea. They don't know what is like inside the different projects that they're copy pasting, what can be the problems, and they can't like execute, if I can say so. Yeah, they can't execute and provide that level of user experience that different players on the market do. On top of that, I would say that the second point on the side of the token risks is basically different risks that can be inside the DePIN project in general, because there are a lot of DePIN projects. You can check them all. You can like have them in your portfolio as an index. For example, a lot of DePIN projects from the computing part, and if someone drops down, you won't have this like bad experience with selling at a low price. But on the other side, for example, with the IO.net, when the problem with the GPU spoofing comes up, yeah, there was like a pretty significant price drop down after launch. So this risk can also happen. So me by myself, I'm almost like often looking into this kind of project from the side of, wow, that's the cool product and the cool technology I can use. Yeah, and also if I like use it, there is no problem for me if the token goes down, because I'm here for like mid-term or long-term run. But if we're talking about like short-term investment, and you don't know the team, basically, I would say that the best way for the DePIN category at least is to invest like in the manner of indexes, where you have like top 10 computing projects in the DePIN space. You're buying them all for some part of your portfolio, and then you hold them, because there is no point where everyone can fuck it up, be fucked up. So yeah, that's the point here. And thanks for the question. Yeah.
Yeah, just to sum up, I think it's an obvious risk for all startups when you invest in equity or tokens. It's the team. So the life is changing, and anything can happen anytime. But definitely there is a huge risk of centralization of the governance in the project, because the majority of the projects, they still have a huge percentage from the supply. and they can manipulate different decisions that they do. Of course, not everyone are looking into it, but if we see obviously the majority of the tokenomics, we can see up to 50% that belongs to the team investors and people who are the decision makers. So we see like centralization in the operations of the network, but not in the management and decision making. That's one of the problems that I wanted to also highlight here.
Yeah, totally agree on that side. There is like the problems with the management and with the way that this can develop itself. But still, I like what the biggest team on the market is doing. Like I love what Azure is doing, what IO.net is doing, what the guys from Filecoin and, for example, from Natix are doing. They're doing a pretty great job, and they have this vision of developing the pretty good projects. But yeah, we always have these risks, and you can never know what will be the next point here. Yeah, so
Sure. Just one more question, because I
yep.
think Tech Girl asked it twice, and she really looking forward to hear your thoughts on it. Will DePIN make a real life impact on infrastructure for visitors, or will it just remain a digital asset for users?
Oh, that's pretty general and pretty great question, I would say. Thanks for the question. So on that side, I can say that it already an infrastructure for different people, because like personally for myself, it's sometimes way better to use like Arweave or Filecoin as a storage solution and not like a Google Drive, computing. But as I have said earlier, I really love like what sensor networks and what they are doing in the space here, because that's are the real life use cases that you can check. And these are the real life use cases you can probably touch today. Yeah, for example, if you have car, just buying the devices and providing the data can be like really unique at some point. Also, as I have said, and will said right now when we will come to the real world use cases and the next slide with the map, I will tell a bit more about the stuff that you can do inside your home or for the green energy or for any other solutions. There are a lot of great solutions being to be honest, that like a real life that provides a real life impact. For example, there are a couple of wireless networks that are building the stations and bringing the connectivity, for example, to the parts of Africa where this was a problem before. Same with some Asian regions and many others. So yeah, I think the best way will be to go to the next slide with the map on the side of the physical resources and sensors, and let's dive a bit deep here. So these are like the general a part of the map with the physical resources, blockchains, and DePIN modules. I won't stop on the DePIN modules in general because they are just providing the solutions for for the DePIN to operate properly. On the side of the blockchains, I would say that there are like a couple major blockchains where you can build your DePIN solutions. The most popular ones for now will be like IOTEX and Peak as the DePIN native blockchains, and Solana because major DePIN projects like Render Network, for example, they're building on Solana and they have moved to Solana from like Ethereum and other chains. So that's a pretty great use case for the Solana as well. And now let's move quickly to like the physical resources map. As I have said, you can also check this map in the DePIN report. On this side, like you have this environmental solutions like WeatherXM. You can just gather all the data about the like weather in your region and basically have your own meteo station in your home. Yeah, so that's like a pretty cool one. All the other guys providing some kind of the same solutions, and you can basically check and use the data and use the products that in 2017 was just the ICO ideas. Yeah, just random ICO ideas that have never been executed. For now, you can execute them and have your own like weather station with like the WeatherXM, for example, or any other environmental project, then you can have like the different like energy solutions. For example, daylight energy or arc green helps you to connect directly to like your solar panel and earn the rewards for like providing an unused energy if it is possible within your network in the real world. Also, there are a couple of like supply chains for the data from researchers and data from like different closed providers. For example, the Origin Trail is also a decentralized science project, which provides like this great, which is a great data provider for researchers and for the people who are like doing scientific research. On the location side, we have like 3, and I think for now we have even more projects. Like some of them are just GeoDNet and FOAM that I have said about it earlier. So for example, the FOAM can support you on the side of understanding where are you at the moment, and connect with the other people in the FOAM network to create like this kind of specific wireless network as well. And why I love FOAM, because it's 2-in-1. It's like the sensor network and wireless network in one solution, basically, with their own devices. On the GeoDNet, that's like the geospatial data that is, even for now, is used for different like farmers or industrial capacities that is providing the information like really fast and really up to date. On the side of the logistics, for example, you can just connect the GeoDNet device for your like big truck and be always up to date with its current location and with the problems that can happen around. On the mapping, we have already talked about the Hive Mapper. Mapmetrics is one of the like competitors of the Hive Mapper, providing pretty same things. Natix, I love what they're doing with mapping, but on top of that, they're building the DePIN marketplace for all these smaller and interconnected points that we have. So definitely worth to check it from the side of the product. On the smart city, we have like the Silencio that measures the sound noise all around us simply from your phone. Spexigon, that is like the mapping solution that can be used like throughout your drone. You can use drone to check what is going on around like your city and track some specific events, then provide this data. AI models will also train different like solutions will be done through it, and it can help like make your city better if you have a drone. You have also different like solutions for the smart home, and just basically you can connect them to like your different smart devices in home. Personal wellness on the side of the sleep and on the side of the like health, tracking it throughout the specific devices or throughout your own devices, like basically a phone. Mobility, we have talked about it a lot, like Demos or Chain, other guys that provide in different solutions. For example, big amount, but in 2019, and for now they are one of the biggest decentralized taxi provider in like Middle East, yeah, and in some other countries as well. So you can basically call the cab with the like with your devices, pay for it in crypto and earn rewards for using it, and basically a driver will earn rewards as well. So we are moving to push and to have the DePINs in any part of our daily life. Probably not in that year, probably not fully in the next year, but in a span of 5 years or probably even smaller time span, I'm definitely sure that we will have like a lot of DePINs that are like used in our daily life and supports us and makes our lives better. Then we have like a lot of wireless networks and wireless providers for LoRaWAN networks, for basically providing a Wi-Fi for the region where you can't reach this Wi-Fi, for the 5G, which is like a pretty new technology still, and for the Bluetooth as well. So there are a couple of like wireless solutions that can be explored. And the second map is pretty much about the digital. So coming back to the question, we have these physical resources that we are using in our daily life. Yeah, and it's like real world use cases that you can probably some of them you can even touch. Yeah, and on the other side, these are like the digital resources. That was the second part of the question, that are still the digital assets, and these are more about the digital assets, about the computation that can be done, like Akash, render network, and many others computational protocols. I also really like from my own point of view, I love what Dynex is doing. Dynex is also a decentralized science project that like basically supports you not only on the computing side when you need to calculate some hard problematics, but they have this unique consensus, which is the proof of useful work, where you can just push your request to the website and pay the rewards for the user who can solve it. And sometimes it really simplifies the different scientific problems. So if you are like a guy who are doing the scientific research in some, like in physics, for example, and you need something from chemistry, you can just push it forward to this website or to any other website of that kind, and get the reply much more faster than it was like doing by yourself. Also, we have like the transcoding for the videos, like Theta and LivePeer. And basically, if we're talking about the biggest institutional DePIN venture funds, LivePeer is always in this venture funds portfolio if we are talking about the DePIN. So definitely worth checking it. And I think Theta Network as well, they're doing a pretty good stuff with their edge cloud. Yeah. Also, we have like the pretty blockchain specific stuff like indexers, the graph, chain stack, covalent, and many other more indexes that are also out there. We have the specific computational solution that is built it for security, which is DATS network. DATS network is basically cybersecurity solution when you can provide your unused computational power, but not for the general computing tasks, and for like the security specific. We have like the other pretty blockchain specific stuff, which is like the RPC. We have a lot of like storages, and storages can be divided for the database storages, for working with database and bases, and basically for working with the blockchain, because all the blockchains are big databases. And on the other side, you have these file storages, which is like storage, Filecoin, Arweave, and many other more solutions that can be interesting and can be useful. For example, the OORT is a pretty big project that is traded on the major exchanges. And like me personally, I have worked with the guys, and like our team have worked with the guys, and they are doing like pretty good in terms of like file storage and solutions they're providing. Also, I can say the same about the storage. I know the co-founder personally. Filecoin and Arweave are pretty big in the ecosystem, and I love what they're building from the infrastructure points of view, especially out the computer for the Arweave, and like a couple of the layer 2 networks for the Filecoin, like Akave and others. I would say that's talking about like these storage solutions, the development of the ecosystems of these big file storages are like really good. For the artificial intelligence and for the some part of the computing, yeah, as well. There is like big players like BitTensor and Jensen AI. We have Giza, Exabit, IO.net can be here and can be in computational sector as well. And basically, with all that point that I have mentioned about like the one real problem from the IO.net, I'm really grateful that they have solved it, and they are like a pretty strong market player that that is in the artificial intelligence and computing like space right now. Same on the side of the Azure, they are doing pretty good, and they have launched not only the AI solution but also a gaming solution. And like for example, you can see the render here as well, and Nosana. Well, Nosana is the computing client of the render. So the render right now is definitely a network of different DPNs that are solving some specific project problems. And when you are providing your computational power to the render, you can choose if you want to do something with AI, if you want to do something with machine learning, if you want to do something with like the video rendering, which was basically the primary idea of the render network, and like many other more solutions. Also, you can see the popular ones like Grass and a couple of others here, AI agent network, which is like pretty cool, I could say. And the last but not least is like the bandwidths. Yeah, we have like the content delivery networks throughout which you can like share your content. You have like the search networks, VPN, which is like pretty useful and pretty unique. Decentralized VPN is something that basically has its future, like not only the project that is shared here as the DePINs, but for example, the NIM technologies are doing the pretty good stuff. And basically one of the projects is a web proxy, so you can definitely check on it as well. Yeah, let me check if there are any other questions.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, we have few questions, so let's try to cover them before we end. How do sensors play a role here, and if it's a digital asset only?
Yeah, basically the sensors play a pretty good role. Yeah, from the one point of view, you can say that it's like the digital asset and it doesn't provide any kind of like real world solutions. That's from the one point of view. But from my point of view, biggest sensor networks providing the data, and you can use this data to make our lives easier. Yeah, for the like autopilots, you can say that autopilots is something digital, but it simplifies your real life. On the side of like if we are talking about the smart homes, you can say that it's like something digital, but still it simplifies your life when you can clap in your house and you will have the light on, or if you will clap and something will work as you need it to work. And basically if we're talking about like the weather infrastructure, it's like a better solution for all the people here, because you can make the weather predictions much more clearer and much more understandable, and you will know and understand what will be the weather tomorrow, because basically a weather point is something that can be predictable, but the probabilities are not really high sometimes, especially with the cyclones and many other stuff. Yeah, and I see.
Would be interesting to hear more about the challenges, but let's cover the last question and
Yep.
then go through the challenges.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can see the question. Can we integrate IoT here for physical assets using blockchains? Basically, we can integrate Internet of Things for physical assets using blockchain. Basically, the main idea of using the blockchain here is, as I have said, for the transparency, for the security, and for the interconnectedness. So while we can work with data and exchange the data in the real time while we are like working with the devices that are like mostly called Internet of Things. Yeah, we still need to store this data for like basically for our physical assets, or for example for our home, to have the memory and to work with this memory to make our lives easier and to like make it simpler in general. So I would say that the easy reply is yes. We can integrate IoT. A bit harder reply and a bit detailed. I really love what IOTEX is doing, which is the L1 blockchain for the DePINs. They have a pretty detailed report on the DePIN infrastructure, on the DePIN ecosystems as well, so you can check it for more information. And basically, the IOTEX was something that was started and was built from the very beginning to combine the IoT and the blockchain in general. So that's the point here. They have built it from 2018 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely worth checking.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Yeah, let's share the report after the event in comments. I think it will be valuable for people also to explore.
Absolutely, we'll share the reports and happy to share them. Yeah, so let's move forward to the DePIN challenges. Like the main DePIN challenges, as I can see it in general, is like the technical and implementation issues. We'll start from the lowest one. Yeah, on the side of the technicals, there are a lot of like small problems and small challenges that can arise when you're building the DePIN. And I'm really happy that really great teams are building these solutions, because they can fix it really fast, and they are often working with the new problems. You can just Google this problem and solve it. Yeah, you just need to have the idea of why this problem arises and how to fix it. You need to like imagine some stuff, create something new, create a new solution and fix it. Yeah, so from the one side, it's like really a DePIN challenge, but this challenge bring us closer to the world where like everything works way more smoothly than it works now. The second point is like the user onboarding. So like pretty easy example. It's really hard to say for someone that you need to buy this device for like $100, put it in your car, and then earn some rewards, and then you will have the updated information and many, many more stuff. Yeah, for someone it will be like, oh, crazy idea. I won't do it because I have my phone, and that's why a lot of like but you can use them through your phone. But on the other side, the guys who are like working with devices and building their own devices, they're like providing a really good uh, technological solutions for the later stages in the future. So while some projects can directly onboard the people that are like using their phone in a daily life, they are just downloading the app and you start using the app. Uh, from the other side, not many people can like do the same with the devices because you need to check the documentation, you need to understand how to work with it. If you are not a node runner, you need to understand how to run a node to, like for example, provide the GPU power for the like IONET and stuff, and like make the proper clusters if you have a lot of unused GPU power for it. So the user onboarding can be quite hard, but that's why I have said that I love what Natix is doing. They are doing the DePIN marketplace where you can like work with different DePINs throughout your phone and like check what is there directly and understand what is the best solution for you and for your needs. So we are definitely on the way of simplifying the user onboarding, but it's not a short-term goal. I would say we won't make it like in a couple of months, but still we are doing pretty good on that side. And the last one is like the proper incentivization, because like the incentivization mechanism is something that can bring people from their Web2 experiences to the Web3 experiences, and there are a lot of ways to reward the people for like doing pretty much easy tasks. Yeah, like the providing of data to the AI, for example, or sharing the information about stuff that is like around you. For someone, it's like the problems with the security, but for the like most part of the world, it's like the, oh, okay, I can share this information. There is no problem here because like I can check it and I can work with it. And the problem and the challenge of the proper incentivization is that there are like hacks and simplifications. For example, there was a problem with demo where you can check and earn rewards for the whole week when you're just doing something one day long. So all the people just take their car from home, drive one circle around the home, then put it back, for example, with the demo app on. Demo tracks their activity and reward them in the same amount as the other people who are riding every day, for example. That was the problem, and I'm really happy that like these small hacks and these small problems can be fixed right now, and can be like can used way better. I would say, like for example, the Sora chain does it in a different way, and it rewards for the impact that user provides to the network. So we are on the way to upgrade it and incentivize the people properly, but we definitely need to fix some incentivization mechanisms to onboard more people. And basically, along with that, we are solving the technical issues. So we have these challenges, but on the global landscape, these challenges are not that big, as you can see. Yeah, and the last but not least here is talking about the future prospects, and after that we can cover even more questions. Yeah, on the side of the future prospects, I would say that the main one is the integration of DePINs in the daily life. I have said earlier that we can like work with this stuff that DePIN will integrate in our daily life in probably 3 to 5 years, probably even fully, not for all the people, but definitely for some part of them. And there is like a pretty simple flywheel here. So the DePINs bring us scalability, brings the ability for people to use some services that they couldn't use earlier. And if you can use something that you really want to, for example, the gaming is the best example here. You have never had an opportunity to play some games like Call of Duty, for example. But now with the decentralized computing networks and the networks that provides you with the GPU power and with the connection and brings your simple notebook to the another level, that brings an adoption because the people start using it. And one of the projects that is doing it and doing it in a pretty simple way is Yom. Yom was launched already, but they are aiming to do their not sale, so you can check the details on that. I won't like recommend because it's always about your own research, but definitely worth researching, I would say. Yeah, and with the adoption, you have the request for more scalability, and with more scalability, you have more adoption. So it's like full cycle here in like 2 boxes, if I can say so. Yeah, and that's why I'm like really curious on the DePIN landscape in general, because I really like how these technologies can be integrated in our daily life and how these technologies can be used in it. So that's from the point of the classical user, and from the point of like any kind of the developer or the guy who are just working in the Web3. I always like to say that the main goal here is like to dream, build, and repeat. That's one of my favorite quotes for the last half of a year that was provided by Rostislav Bortman, who was building the biggest hackathon in Ukraine. Yeah, you can always dream, and if you think that something is impossible, you can just try to build it. And after that, if it's a great case, just repeat. If it's not a great case, you can also repeat and build something better. So that's the point of the DePIN, and this quote can like basically show the potential of DePIN, because most of the DePIN projects was live from 2018 and they are hyping only in 2024. They had their dream and they had their impact. They have built all this time, and for now they're like repeating the cycle, updating their like software and hardware, and making this world better. And that's on the DePIN. Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. That was my pleasure to host this insightful session. We learned a lot about the technology, about the cases, problems, and challenges. And of course, we learned from different opportunities in the future. So it's really helpful, and it's a deep information that you shared from my point of view. So I'm looking forward to review the second report from you. I had a look on crypto areas in May, I think, this year when it was live. So thank you for joining. It was my pleasure to be with you here.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks everyone who was listening and who will listen. Yeah, it was a pleasure to join on the stage, and thanks everyone.